The live stream has started, which means the theme music. This is the Bobby Freakout Hour, number 6, an attempt at another show. What's going on? Who knows? I certainly don't. I don't know what to talk about today. The show is the concept of the Bobby Freakout Hour is just absolutely crazy, in my opinion. Anyway, that's probably why things aren't. There we go. That's a bit better. I couldn't work out why things weren't quite loud enough before, and it was because the main fader was not turned up. So thank you very much for tuning in, because you can tell that this is a very professional show. Today, or on the episode today, we're going to have a little geocaching video, or a segment, and we're also going to have the debut of Bobby Freakout Trivia, which is a concept that I've been thinking about for a little while now. And when I say a little while, I thought about it a while ago, forgot, and I'm now thinking about it again. And so we can look forward to playing that. And we may even have a sing-along. I had planned a sing-along, or I'd thought about planning a sing-along, and then I proceeded to forget. So if I can... Oh, no, I know when I'll do that. I'll do that when the video's playing. Professional, as I said. So, this is a variety podcast /blog/vlog/thing. It is the Bobby Freakout Hour. I've been podcasting unsuccessfully since before people knew what podcast was. When I first started doing a podcast, you actually had to say, do you know what a podcast is, as opposed to, do you listen to podcasts? Nowadays, you'll say to people, oh, do you listen to podcasts? Or what podcast do you listen to? Whereas back then, you'd actually say, what is a podcast? Or you'd say to somebody, do you know what a podcast is? And they'd say, what the hell's a podcast? And you go, oh, it's like a radio show, but it's on the internet. And no one would listen to those. Although, I should give myself a little bit of credit. One person listened to my podcasts, and then I ended up having a relationship with that person. So, I mean, that's a one-for-one groupie kind of interaction, isn't it? I don't know. For those people watching, and you're not going to be watching live because no one ever does, because it's that's fine, because my numbers are still way too low. Wouldn't it be awesome? There's a door just there. Wouldn't it be awesome if all of a sudden at some point somebody came into that door and then went away and it was a ghost? That's just what that looks like to me. Where is it? There it is. That door just looks like I expect somebody to, a ghost or something to appear there. But you'd have to watch the YouTube version in order to see that, and not the audio version if you are watching or listening to an audio version. I had a pretty decent day today. I don't know about you. We went to the park. We went late. Unfortunately, the local park, or to go to the local park, you go past a little cafe. And a new company has just taken over the running of that business at the cafe. And I happen to actually used to work for this group of businesses now at one of their other places. And unfortunately, the manager at the time was a member of the Falun Dafa, or Falun Gong, however you pronounce it, cult. And I still remember he asked me if I was into spiritualism, and I said, oh, I'm open to that kind of stuff. I like talking about philosophy and stuff like that. And so we sat down after work one time and we had a chat. And it got to the end of the chat, and I walked away, and I will never forget this. I walked away and I went from the back door of the place to my car thinking, I feel like I just spoke to a cult member. That was what it felt like. And then later on, the name of the group popped into my social media feed, and I was like, oh shit, I think that was that group that he was talking about. So I went and I pulled the flyer out, and I was like, oh yeah, that's that group he was talking about. And because they have a focus on meditation in this group, and I have felt the positive aspects of meditation. I've absolutely felt it. I think meditation is something that everyone should try. If you get really good at it, that's fantastic. If you don't get really good at it, that's not the end of the world. But I think meditation is fantastic. So I was interested in this group because I was like, oh, that's interesting. But because of feeling like I'd spoken to a cult member, I'd been turned off it a fair bit. And then I did a bit of reading after it came up in my social media, and it's a full-on cult. And because they now own this company or are running this place, they had a advertisement for a dance group who is a propaganda wing of Falun Gong. I say Falun Gong for some reason. I think it's the Fur now. They've changed it or something. But it's this dance group who are the propaganda wing, just like the Epoch Times that is a newspaper news service that they have, which is also a propaganda wing. And they're a right-leaning group, and I'm very much a left-leaning person. And so, yeah, I'm not a fan. Don't like them at all. And so now I don't feel like I can go to that cafe anymore because there was a fish and chip shop near me that had a poster for this dance group in the window. And so I found a different fish and chip shop, and I like the other place just as much, if not more. And I now can't go to that cafe, which is a shame because I used to like getting a little snack on the way to the park. But I am incredibly poor, and so I can't be spending money anyway. I shouldn't have spent the money I spent today. And so it's probably for the best overall anyway. So my curiosity for you watching or listening is, do you vote with your wallet? How many choices do you make like that? Because I avoid Amazon. I avoid trying to go to the big supermarkets. I avoid that fish and chip shop. I'm now going to avoid this cafe. Where do you draw the line as to where you can and can't shop and where you put your money? Because it's absolutely, it's so annoying having all these different places and things that you just can't be involved with anymore because you don't want to support the organisations and groups that do terrible things in our society. And cults and religion in general are just ones that I don't like at all. So I try to avoid them as best I can. And that's got nothing to do with the rest of the show. That was just a little talking point to start the show off. So I've managed to hook up almost everything. And I'm really quite pleased with myself because I've actually got the keyboard in front of me. And I can play some very basic organ and keyboard stuff. I'm not too bad on the piano if we're being sort of slow and sentimental. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. I can't. Those are the 4 chords for the 4 chord song, but I can't remember any of the other songs that go with the 4 chord song. So, can you feel the love tonight? And I feel like my piano playing is so average that you probably believe that it's me playing it, even though it's under the camera. I was going to set up a second camera, but I completely forgot because I was setting everything else up. So yeah. Thank you. I don't know if it's funny, sad, or funny, good that I do this kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, okay, that's enough, guys. That can go away. That went on for a little bit long. So hopefully we'll have a sing along at the end of the show. The song we're going to sing is Monster Mash. So if you're watching now, look up the lyrics for Monster Mash thing. Unfortunately, my guitar, this one here, I really like this guitar. It's a fantastic guitar. But it's got a little bit of a problem with the pickups, which I need to fix. And it's now missing a tuning peg. Because earlier today, it fell over. And it's out of tune. Oh, I cannot tell you. Oh no. I can't tell you how annoyed that has made me. I just discovered that on the show right now. That's a live moment that I've just discovered there. So that's fantastic. And on that note, I'm going to throw it to a video so that I can be annoyed and maybe try and tune up the guitar somehow. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, so I'm going to have to improvise to get ready for our sing-song at the end of the show. So this is me from a little while ago going geocaching down at Millionaire's Walk in Sorrento. Well, it has been a long time since I've done a geocaching video, but here we are. We are down in Sorrento for Millionaire's Walk. We're doing a multi-part cache today where we're going to have to find things, we're going to have to do things, we're going to have to remember things. There's probably even going to be some maths involved. But the views are going to be pretty fantastic. And let's get on to it. Okay, so we've already seen a ton of muggles. And just a general feeling of uncomfortableness because we are so close to people's houses. But luckily, there are some fantastic smells at the moment. It is early spring, so we're getting some great stuff going on. I'm so irritable, it's not funny. I am just but we're having a nice time. Actually, what we're going to do is right there, we're going to stop for a little bit. Okay. So we've stopped in this little spot, and I refilled my coffee cup, and some muggles have already gone past. The views are fantastic of some of the properties here, of some of the beaches, I should say. But the crazy thing is that apparently they're all private beaches. There's like signs saying private property on the paths down there, which as a poor person, I don't like. Not a big fan of that kind of stuff. So, think of it. Now we have to go to some coordinates. Okay, so after a little bit of confusion and some work on the phone, we have finally worked out exactly where we need to go, and it's just a little bit further, which is fantastic. We're starting to get some rain, so I don't feel as stupid for bringing my raincoat, because I thought no one else that I've seen on here had that, so I was like, maybe I look like a bit of an idiot, packed for a 4-day hike when I'm really only doing a few hours, but it's starting to rain, so always be prepared. Okay, so we are at the second point now. It's the second stop. At this location you will find the name that Port Phillip was originally given. You will also learn that it was the first time that the Union Jack, i.e. the new flag, was used for the purpose of claiming land for Britain. Find the original name of Port Phillip. So, okay, so it says here, Acting Lieutenant John Murray, commanding HMS Lady Nelson, took possession of Port King, later named Port Phillip. Was Philip the King? Did they just change the name slightly? It seems a little bit silly. Anyway, Port King, which would be 8 letters, so 7. So I need to do some more GPS locating. So whilst the muggles were here, I was able to look at my phone and get the details for the next spot that we need to go to, and where we need to go to is down there on that beach. So that's where we're headed. So I need to establish which of these beach boxes is the right one for the colour of the roof, which will help me get the coordinates for the final place, the final spot where the cache is. So we want the 5th one along, so there's the 3 close ones, there's that dark grey one, and then there's the slightly wider one, and it could be blue or grey to me. It's very faded. So part of me is going to say it's grey. So this could go very badly.
So, according to all of the information that I've gathered, we should have the cache somewhere around here. There's a couple of spots that my caching spidey sensors have identified. First one I'm going to check is, well, I was thinking just there, but it's not entirely surprising that it's not there. I was thinking that might be a spot because it looks like some of the growth, though there's no growth, there appears to be a rubbish bag just in there. And now this is, I don't know about you, but that looks like a path to go around, which is a classic geocaching thing, as it were. There are a disappointing amount of dog poo containers up here. Now, I would think or hope that it wouldn't be too far away. Just really hoping there's no muggles. This is a fantastic little path. There's some alcohol cans. But then the path pretty much stops right here where the dogs are continuing. But then there's now a path going that way. So that was disappointing. I would have thought that this would have been a pretty good spot for it. So, they've given some other clues here that says, is Sauvignon Blanc a red or a white grape variety? If you think it's red, look low. And if you think it's white, look high. Now, I'm not good with wine, but I'm pretty sure a Sauvignon Blanc being French for white, is a white grape. So, instead of looking down like I was doing, I'm now going to look up. I just looked down again, which is a bit silly. There's fairly clear markings there to me that somebody has walked through there. Looks like a rodent hole there. Well, this is a bit frustrating. So I'm going to assume it's a 200mm or milliliter Systema, so it should be like my hand size and up. So I'm thinking now it's going to be somewhere like that. Something like that is what we're going to be looking for now. So this spot right here is the very first place I looked, and what I did is I came in and we looked down here. But what I stupidly didn't do was look right there. So we found it. Here we go. Boom. First cache in, I don't know, maybe 6 months. It's been a long time since I've done any caching, and funnily enough, I haven't uploaded my last caching video until maybe tonight or tomorrow night. So I'm going to try and see if I've got a pen somewhere here and get this log. Thank the geocaching gods, there is a pencil with this log book, so I will be able to do it to sign it with no issues. And I've just noticed there's on the map there's another one pretty close by, so we might go and try and grab that as well. So it's always good to try and grab multiples when you get the chance. Some people don't understand the concept of minimizing their where they sign the cache. I don't get it. But anyway, I'm going to sign it and then we'll head off. It's a date today.
Oh, the mic wasn't up. Professional as always. That was a fun one. Did you notice the sections that were meant to have music and I was meant to play along, but I didn't because I was checking guitars. Fantastic stuff on this professional Bobby Freakout Hour. Some shows in the world do things non-professionally and they make it part of their shtick. I'm really hoping that sticks for me. If I could make not doing things professionally work for me, that would be fantastic. But we're just learning. This is definitely only the 6th ever Bobby Freakout Hour I've ever done. Definitely. I definitely haven't done almost 50 of these over 15, 20 years. 15 years. 15 or so years of doing the Bobby Freakout Hour on and off with big gaps in between. And yeah, anyway, speaking of gaps in between, it has been even longer now since. So that geocaching video that happened, in it I said spring. And so that was spring. So that's what, less than 6 months ago, but like 4 months ago. And I've got another one in the bag or in the computer that I've almost finished editing, which was just after that, but like a couple of months after that. I've done like so little geocaching lately. It's terrible. And just recently, my car has been rendered unusable for different reasons. It still runs fine, but it's unusable at the moment. I can't drive it on the road. And so I can't go anywhere to go geocaching. Well, I can, but I've done all the ones near my place. So it's going to take a fair bit of effort to go get more. So that's going to be fun. It really is. It's going to be fun trying to do that. But we're hoping to move. We're hoping to change things up a fair bit. So if you want more geocaching videos, if you want more Bobby Freakout Hour, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, go check out all the social medias. I do the Daily Freakout headlines every day, and I'm trying to do a Daily Freakout news talk podcast as well. And then we're doing this variety show on the Sunday. That is the goal at the moment. It is a lot, but I feel like I am behind and I need to catch up. So we need to do a lot of things in order to get these, to get the podcasting and the way I do things, or the way that I want to do things up to scratch and where they should be. So hopefully I will remember to add music to the next geocaching video. Hopefully when you see it in the next hopefully the next week it'll be all done and stuff, and hopefully I can learn to play a bit of better keyboard and stuff, because at the moment all my guitars are effed, pardon my French. One's missing a couple of tuning pegs and some strings, one's missing a tuning peg and now won't go in tune, and the other one is not appropriate. So yeah, happy over here is what I am. Like and subscribe, please. But also I want feedback, so throw some feedback into the mix. and let me know what you like, what you dislike, what you think could be improved. At the end of this episode, if you enjoyed everything, tell me so, and if you didn't enjoy everything, tell me so, and we can work out things. So, one of the things that I want to do is these podcasts, I want them to be community, or I want them to be somewhat interactive, as it were, hence why we're going to do our little sing-song later in the show. But what we're also going to do is trivia. So this is the Bobby Freakout Trivia Hour. Originally, I thought the Trivia Hour could be its entirely own show. It could be... Oh, wait a sec. I am such a goose. Hold on one second. It's the Bobby Freakout Trivia. Although that doesn't sound good anymore. There we go. It's the Bobby Freakout Trivia. Somewhere in my little sampler and stuff, I've actually got a bunch of organ noises, like American baseball style. That kind of stuff. And I learnt a few of them, but I'm not very good at them. So, yeah, that's hopefully what this show will be. Not very good? No. It's going to be great. It really is. So, one of the thoughts I had for the Trivia Hour was that I would have, I could do an entire podcast that was a trivia show that you played at home. So the idea was we'd steal from Taskmaster, and you would get a group of friends to sit at home, and you'd all bring in your own prizes, and then you'd pull all the prizes together, and then everyone would win all those prizes at the end of the thing. You would write down your answers either on your phone or on a pad of paper, and then you'd pass them round and mark them each one. Like you'd pass it round one, mark it, pass it back, that kind of thing. And at the end of it, you'd tally up all your scores at home, and you'd find out who won. So it was the idea of a trivia night, but from the comfort of your own home. I've now decided that all my ideas are going to become segments on the Bobby Freakout Hour. So the greenhouse, which I'm filming tomorrow. So if you like the greenhouse segment, tune in next week. The greenhouse, the trivia, the sing-songs, the geocaching, all that kind of stuff is all going to happen now in the show as a segment. So this is now the Bobby Freakout Trivia Hour trivia segment right now. I shouldn't have gone minor there, should I? I should have gone a little bit of major. The Bobby Freakout Trivia Hour. Here we go. So this is round one. I can't remember. I did have some themes at some point for some of these, but we'll see how we go. So round 3 is going to be geography, and round 4 is going to be science, but round 1 seems to be general type of stuff. So here we go. Have you got your pen and paper? You've had enough time now. I didn't tell you to go get one, but I implied that you'd need one. The notes app on your phone is also very good. Don't put it in the comments, because that would ruin it for everyone. Who was the ancient Greek god of the sun? I'll be honest with you, I did not know the answers to any of these. I needed to look them up and find out, because I'm not that knowledgeable. But the Greek god of the sun. Question number 2. Which ocean is between Europe and America? And I know I've actually written the wrong answer here in my answers, which is kind of funny. I'll explain that when we get to it. But that's quite funny. My boss at my burger joint, the burger joint job that I've got, really likes to quiz the kids that work it with us about these kind of things and what oceans and stuff are around. So that one's for him. How many faces does a dodecahedron have? Dodecahedron. That's a fun word to say. Dodecahedron. How many sides or faces? Oh, pardon me. Is that? I feel like I need some background music. I'll work on that for next time. Don't trust me. Next week when we do the trivia, we'll have that there. What art form is described as decorative handwriting? Now, if you can write your answer in decorative handwriting, then that would be very impressive. In fact, that's an extra point for you playing at home. If you if you can write, or if you do write the answer to question number 4, what art form is described as decorative handwriting in decorative handwriting, then that's an extra point. And how many dots appear on a pair of dice? Pair of dice. I'm going to say pair of dice. How many dots appear on a pair of dice? That's one that'll take a bit of time. That's when we dun. Oh wait, no. That's not it either. Anyway, I'll do some thinking music with the piano. So get your answers written down. Questions were: who's the ancient Greek god of the sun? Which ocean is between Europe and America? How many faces does a dodecahedron have? What art form is described as decorative handwriting? And how many dots appear on a pair of dice? This is round 1 of the Bobby Freakout Trivia Hour as part of Bobby Freakout Hour number 6. So the answer to number 1, the ancient Greek god of the sun, is Apollo. Didn't know that. Absolutely did not know that. And if I'd been asked that yesterday, I would not have been able to answer that at all. Which is the ocean between Europe and America? It is the Atlantic. I have written down the Atlantis on my answers here, and I don't think that's right. I believe it's the Atlantic. How many faces does a dodecahedron have? According to the research I did when I was originally writing these questions, it is 12. I honestly don't know. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. What art form is described as decorative handwriting? If you wrote the word calligraphy in calligraphic writing, if you wrote calligraphy, you'd be correct. And how many dots appear on a pair of dice? Apparently, it is 42. 42 dots. Round 2. I don't know how long we're going to go for this. It's only the show's only been going for 32 minutes, so we've got plenty of time. Round 2. What phone company produced the 3310 or the 3310? 3310. What phone company produced the 3310? And again, these are all general knowledge questions for the first 2 rounds. Write down your answers on your device or whatever. What day of the week does the Jewish Sabbath begin? That makes it sound like there's multiple days, but it begins on a certain day. Again, I wrote these a little while ago and I did the research at the time. I have since forgotten any extra details other than what I've written down. What software company is headquartered in Richmond, Washington? Redmond, Washington. It's obviously not Apple because that's they're in San Cupertino or somewhere like that in California. This is another big software company. What is the name of the Chinese philosophical system that emphasizes harmony with nature? The Chinese philosophical system that emphasizes harmony with nature. I know I'm reading the answer and I know the word, which is the answer, but I could not tell you. I couldn't have answered that question if I was doing this quiz, and I can't tell you anything to do with that philosophical system. What is a word, phrase, number, or other sequence of characters that reads the same backward as forward? I feel like that's one that people should know. That's one you've probably heard that before, and you know the word and the name for that one. You're certainly going to, I feel like when I say it, you're going to go, oh, that's right. But I also feel like you'd know it. It's one of those little bits of knowledge that sticks in our head. So, nice and quick with a bit of organ behind us. What company produced the 3310? What day of the week does the Jewish Sabbath begin? What software company is headquartered in Redmond, Washington? Redmond? Redmond. What is the name of the Chinese philosophical system that emphasizes harmony with nature? And what is the word, phrase, number, or other sequence of characters that reads the same backwards as it does forwards? Ready? I'm trying to build my own confidence by talking as though there's people listening and watching. What phone company produced the 3310? It was, of course, Nokia. I feel like that one's a pretty obvious one just because Nokia, if you're of a certain age, if for some reason you're a young person watching this, you had no idea. But Nokia 3310 seems obvious to me. What day of the week does the Jewish Sabbath begin? Apparently, it begins on Friday. As a staunch atheist, I have no idea about a lot of stuff with religion, and I didn't know that the Jewish Sabbath started on the Friday. I think, is it like 24 hours? So it's from like the end of Friday round. I don't know. Anyway, we'll research that. Put it in the comments. Give me some more information on the Jewish Sabbath. What software company is headquartered in Redmond, Washington? It is, of course, Microsoft. I feel like by saying it wasn't Apple, that it was you had a pretty good shot going with Microsoft. And what is the name of the Chinese philosophical system that emphasizes harmony with nature? It is, of course, Taoism. Taoism? Taoism. Taoism. I don't know anything about Taoism. I do feel like, as a wannabe philosopher, my philosophical knowledge of historical philosophical groups and ways of thinking is not huge, so I should read into it a bit more. I don't know much Eastern philosophy. I know the Nietzsche and stuff like that, but I couldn't tell you anything about Chinese philosophical systems. And what is a word, phrase, number, or sequence of characters that reads the same backward as forward? It is, of course, palindrome. There we go, guys. 5 seconds now to tally up your scores. Have a drinks break, and we will be back in just a second. Yeah, okay, wrong button. No, wrong button again. So professional. Oh, that's great. As I'm taking a drink, the little music stopped. That was I'll probably get into trouble for playing that. That's the bass line from 99 Red Balloons by Nina. Great song. That might be a sing-along. Oh, no, actually, it won't be a sing-along because it's not really a sing-along song. But that bass line's fantastic. Anyway, round 3, geography. We might actually... we might do 2 more. We'll do round 3 and we'll do round 4. Round 5 history can wait maybe until another time. So geography, here we go. This one's for the boss at work because he likes geographical questions for the kids. Where would you be if you were standing on the Spanish Steps? I'll give you a clue. It's not Spain. Where would you be standing if you're on the Spanish Steps? I don't think you can guess that one. You're either going to know it or you don't know it, and I wouldn't be surprised if you don't know it, because why would you know it? I don't know it. I looked it up. I cheated. In which country would you find Mount Kilimanjaro? I'm looking for country on that one, but you can have half a point for continent. Mount Kilimanjaro. Such a great name. That's one of the things I love. Other languages are fantastic. I don't know why people would not want to learn other languages, because other languages are fantastic, and there's fantastic words like Baba Ganoush. It's a great word. And Kilimanjaro. It's a fantastic word. It always sounds good when you add an accent to it as well. Yeah. Which country has the most islands? It's not a trick question, but it's not what you're expecting. I'll give you a clue. It's not tropical. There you go. Country has the most islands. What is the capital of Ireland? I'm going through these ones relatively quickly because as I'm the only one talking, I have to say something. I can't just leave the air open and let you guys talk. If you know what I mean. Like if this was a trivia night at a pub, it'd be a bit different. But yeah, I just had a flashback to a night when I ruined a potential date with a girl I was in love with because we went to a trivia night. Anyway, in what country is the Chernobyl nuclear plant located? That might be a trick one for some people. Or maybe not a trick, but it might not be what you're thinking. Anyway, thinking music, and we'll run through. Oh, I'm just going to re-angle this. Thinking music, and we'll just run through the questions. And now we've got a hum. I love that. I love it when that happens. It's not meant to be happening, but it just happens sometimes. Geography questions. So, why does that sound not as good now? I love it. It's so professional here, and things just don't work. That's better. That's very strange the way that was happening. It's no other show where you're going to have the guy hosting is also the band, who's also the technical guy going, why isn't that working? Anyway, where would you be if you were standing on the Spanish Steps? In which country would you find Mount Kilimanjaro? Which country has the most islands? And what is the capital of Ireland? And what or where is the Chernobyl nuclear power plant located? And apparently in, I think that's a suspended chord. So that's a major. That's A major there, and then that's A7, I think. Apparently, people are mutating because of the Chernobyl incident, disaster, which is very interesting. Where would you be if you were standing on the Spanish Steps? You would be in Rome. Tick, if you got that one correct. In which country would you find Mount Kilimanjaro? Tanzania, of course, obviously, we all knew that. Which country has the most islands? It's not tropical, it is Sweden. I don't know how that's the case, but that is the case, apparently. Again, I researched these a while ago, and I don't remember them. What is the capital of Ireland? That was a fairly easy one that I threw in there. That's Dublin, of course. And in what country is the Chernobyl nuclear power plant located? It is the Ukraine. So, Rome, Tanzania, Sweden, Dublin, and Ukraine. Do a quick little tally of how many you got right there. Add them to the rest of them and pop it in the comments how you're doing, whether you've done well or not, or you're doing well or not. And we're going to go round 4 now. Science. We might be a bit quicker with these ones, so be ready. And also, if you're at home and you're watching this, don't cheat. Answer them honestly. Come on. There's no prizes unless you've got your own prize. You award yourself a prize, but don't cheat. It's just there's no point. Don't be a cheater. Come on. I just thought of a funny joke. Don't be like my ex. Don't be a cheater. How many elements are in the periodic table? You know that bunch of squares things that the nerds remembered at school? How many elements are in there? Which planet has the most moons? It'd be kind of cool if we had more than one moon, wouldn't it? I don't know what difference it would make, and it would be just so normal that it wouldn't matter, but I think it'd be cool. Which is the only body part that is fully grown from birth? That I did not. This one I am somewhat surprised by. I did not know this. Apparently, there is one body part that is the same size when you're born as it is when you are the rest of you is fully grown. What is the process by which plants convert sunlight to energy? I absolutely love when this happens. I still love the fact that the sun shines down, the plants do this, turn it into, say, wood. That wood I can then burn and heat up a kettle, And with that kettle, I can pour hot water into a hot water bottle, which will then warm my bed, which means the sun is warming my bed. There's just stages in between. I think that's fantastic. That's something that I don't know, something I really like. What is the name of the world's first artificial satellite? Because technically, I believe the moon is a satellite. It falls under the definition of satellite. So the moon is a satellite, but we had an artificial one, and it was put up there. I'm going to give you a clue, by the Russians, and it's got a good name. And Ross dressed up as a version of this for Halloween on Friends one time. How many elements are in the periodic table? Which planet has the most moons? Which is the only body part that is fully grown from birth? What is the process by which plants convert sunlight to energy? And what is the name of the world's first artificial satellite? No, it's got to go to 5, doesn't it? Anyway, I apologize for my bad keyboard playing, but deal with it. We're 46 minutes in. If you're still watching at this point, then you don't mind the keyboard playing. So, how many elements are in the periodic table? That is 118, which who would have thought? 118. Wow. Do they get new elements? Do we develop new elements at any time? I don't know. Which planet has the most moons? It is, of course, Saturn, with the rings. Is Saturn the one with the rings as well? So it's got lots of rings, lots of moons. It's just got everything. And one of my dogs, which is under the desk here, has just farted. Wowza. God damn, Doctor. She's getting older, and the farts are getting more prominent. She's absolute, as she's getting older, she never used to fart, and now she does semi-regularly. Is that good or bad? Should I look into that? I don't know. Which is the only body part that is fully grown from birth? It is the eyes. So this is the size of eye I had when I was born. That's kind of crazy, because everything else has grown, but that. What is the process by which plants convert sunlight to energy? It is, of course, photosynthesis. I feel like everyone should know that, don't they? Everyone knows that. And what is the name of the world's first artificial satellite? It is, of course, Sputnik 1. 118, Saturn, eyes, photosynthesis, Sputnik 1. That is the Bobby Freakout trivia segment for this episode. Thank you so much for contributing. If you did enjoy that, let me know, because that was I think it's a good little segment to have. And as I said, put your answers in the comments. How you did? Did you award yourself a prize? Are you going to have an extra hot chocolate before bed, or buy yourself an ice cream? If you got all those correct, buy an ice cream, and then let me know, and I'll reimburse you for the ice cream. Offer only applies for the first 2 people to tell me, because I can't afford anything at the moment. Should I pay to advertise my podcasting and stuff on the social media things? Because on all the social media, you can effectively pay for views, which means advertising. Like, you pay to advertise your content, but effectively that just pays for views, and then hopefully you can convert those views into people turning up and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's, I can't really afford, even though it's not that expensive, I can't really afford it. And I'm just like, how much money do you put into a hobby or something that you're trying to do, a new attempted business idea, before it's just too much? I don't know. It's a bit of a struggle to try and decide these things and work these things out. It's not quite as clear as having there's certain businesses where you know the money that you got to put in is obvious and stuff. And like, I've bought a few bits of gear for this that have been things that I maybe shouldn't have bought, but they've done all right, and they weren't that expensive. But the social media one, I just don't know. It feels cheating. It feels wrong. Anyway, this guitar was $75. It was a cheap guitar. It still is a cheap guitar. And it needed a lot of work. And it's not gonna... It needed a lot of work to get it to sound really good, or to get it to play. And I've done that, and it's great. But I refer to it as my blues guitar, because if you know what you're talking about with guitars, it's got a very high action, but it means that I can... So I can play with the slide really easily. And it's my blues guitar. It is not ideal for what I was hoping to do now, which is the sing-along. So it's a bit out of tune. And I'm not great at tuning by ear. I don't have perfect pitch. I'm just not great at that kind of thing. But I think it's pretty decent. So, luckily for me, at an almost the hour mark, no one is going to get to this point of the show for a very long time. So hopefully you're from the future and you're watching this going, wow, this version of the show was really bad. I'm glad that it's improved. But here we go. We're going to do the Monster Mash, which was originally recorded in 1962 by a guy called Bobby Pickett. Please sing along at home if you've got the words or you know. I was working in the lab late one night when my ears beheld an eerie sight from my monster. His slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. He did the mash. It caught on in a flash. He did the mash. He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt of my electrodes. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. The guitar's fucked up. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. He did the mash. It caught on in a flash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. All the zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, they were all digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group. The Cricks Kicker 5, they did the mash. They did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, they played the mash. It caught on in a flash, they did the mash. They did the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and he shook his fist. He said, whatever happened to my Transylvania twist? It's now the mash. It's now the monster mash. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It's now the mash. It caught on in a flash. It's now the mash. It's now the monster mash. Now everybody's cool. Drax part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. The monster mash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash, the monster mash. It caught on in a flash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash, the monster mash. The monster mash. Thank you if you have sung along at top volume for that one. Oh, that was interesting. The guitar does this thing where one of the strings gets caught. That's what happened there. So hopefully, so the thought is for that in the future, there might actually be people around and we all sing along. And even if you sing along at home, that's great too. And so the thought is maybe at some point in the future, I'll have some people and we'll sing and it'll be great. But for now, it's just me singing into the void of a supposedly live streamed Bobby Freakout Hour number 6. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Yes, I do appreciate it. Thank you for cheering and clapping that we've made it to an end of an episode. A long time coming, this episode, with lots of intent over the time and hope that I was actually going to get it done. And I really forced myself. I was almost going to go to bed before and not do it. So if you've enjoyed it, please like it, subscribe it, all that kind of stuff. Comment, put some comments in the comment window. Tell me what happened was good, what was bad, all that kind of stuff. If you've got some frugal tips on how to save money, that would be great, because that's what I need to do at the moment. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching and listening. This has been the Bobby Freakout Hour number 6. Hopefully next week, number 7, and we can keep going like that. My previous record of consistent episodes is around the 25, 26 area, so hopefully we can get past that. And I really appreciate you. And I will see you next time on the Bobby Freakout Hour for episode number 7. Thank you, and goodbye, good night, good luck, and amen.